What is this that sits before me? A Les Paul copy in black from the 70s. See what I did there? I had this one for in the shop for a couple months now, just getting to it. And I'm very excited to get to it because it has been a wall hanger for as long as I can remember. The story I remember on this one was the guitar player in my Black Sabbath cover band got this at a flea market, yard sale maybe, late 90s, I want to say. And it was pretty much in this condition. And it just became a wall hanger after that. It was a lot of problems with some buzz up on the frets and stuff. So it got kind of pushed to the side. When we decided to start playing it, I noticed that there was this huge crack here. If you can see here, the finish is chipping off. So that kind of got put to the side. We were debating on getting a new neck for it and all that, but that headstock is just cool, ain't it? I mean, that's perfect. Open copy, open book copy. And just the tint and the age of it. We really wanted to keep it original. So, bring you up in here for a little tour. Guess we'll start at this end. The jack is there. Has some mismatched hardware. The knobs are in great shape. They even have like a V and a T, volume and tone. There's this big huge ding right here, which is like it's pretty deep, it's a gouge. Nice. There is this little chip up here, which I'm going to leave. And I think that just adds to it, the relic look of it. The bridge, it's kind of like this square piece. Saddle is on backwards. Pickups are pretty dented up in here and stuff. That's okay. Missing the knob there and the switch. Really cool binding. The binding actually goes right up to the edge of the wood there. Like it actually goes to where my thumbnail is. That's kind of neat. And of course that headstock. One thing I noticed a little bit earlier when I actually first brought it back was the binding is separating right here. You can see it flex up and down. And it goes in and out too. And it's coming up to about back here. And I don't know if that's the fretboard. The fretboard seems pretty solid. But so we'll come over here to the biggest problem with this, which is this chipped paint here. And looking really close, the crack in this finish, if we start up here, you can see, there we go, in the light, see that scratch and that scratch? They're not scratches. That's runs all the way down to two. You see it here too, right there and right there. And that this crack runs down to here, and then comes down to about there. And then there's a crack here that goes down to here, about the 7th, 8th fret. And this one on the outside goes to about the 3rd or 4th fret. So there's a lot of cracks, a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know if that's the wood under there or what that is. So it's peeling up really bad right here. And it's sharp too. Like, you know, you might just be playing along and then just slice your hand open too. So really thinking about what to do with that. But it's a bolt-on neck, made in Japan. That's the only identification I have on it. So maybe when we get in the pots, we'll be able to get a date off of those. I don't know. I apologize for my boiler running in the background there. But yeah, let's I'll set you up and we'll plug it in, see if it plays, see if there's any sound coming out of it, and we'll take it from there. You hear that? We have a rogue helicopter on the loose inside of this airspace. Alright, let's turn this on, see if it works. Whoa, there's a lot of buzz. Alright, so it's all over the place, in and out. Nothing on that pickup. Yeah, that's gonna need some work. The jack is also feeling like a little, getting pushed out like a spring. Alright, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is let's take off the strings and let's work through this neck, and I'm going to start cataloging some of the hardware as I take it off. Sounds good? Oh, check this out. This the tailpiece doesn't slip on like a Les Paul. It's like screwed on there. Little plastic automotive tools. These are for like taking off interior clips and stuff. Work good for taking off stuck sticky knobs. Just, you don't want to force it too much on one side, but give it a nice little rock. Alright. I hope that was the worst one. The head is a little bit tarnished, and as you can see, I had to use a flathead screwdriver to lever it out of there as I was twisting, and the head wanted to strip out the whole time. So probably be getting some new hardware for those. Yep. Lost the rest of that one. Great. Alright, that was literally 20 minutes of trying to take those out. So I think I'm going to chisel off this loose finish that's on here. And I don't want to really refinish the whole neck. So I'm going to try to kind of just come up to here, about where your hand hits. It's really sharp right here, but then it's nice and flat. All these cracks are okay. You can live with these cracks. They're not going to be in your way or anything. But I think I want to peel off as much of the loose as I can, and I want to inspect this wood to see if there are any cracks. My suspicion is that it took a hard jolt either to the side or the back of the neck, or maybe that big gouge that's on the body was part of it too. But I'm wondering if it flexed. I mean, the wood is probably changing, expanding, contracting. It probably would have checked on its own. But I wonder if with string tension, if it hit on the back and then just split the, I'm being optimistic, just split the finish, not the actual wood. I'm thinking the wood flexed, the finish didn't. So I'm going to go back to about here. It looks like maybe the end of the crack is maybe somewhere in here somewhere. So yeah, there's this one ends here, this one ends here, this one ends about right here. So let's start doing that. Just working off that little piece. That was a little. That's. It's not coming off as easy as I thought it would. It was very loose up in here. You can almost see it if you rock the. I noticed if I rock the chisel back and forth, it'll. It kind of chips off. But what I'm seeing. Let's see if we can bring in. Is you can almost see the grain going right here. Right there is the grain. And I wonder if it just expanded on that grain and cracked there. Because I'm running my fingernail over the grain where that crack is here. And I'm not feeling like any separation or anything there. So I'm going to continue on doing that, and yeah, I'll bring you back when I get a little further. Well, fellas, I'm torn about this one. I was really hoping to be able to just chisel off the loose finish and then fill it in with a tinted resin like in black. Unfortunately, the crack runs all the way down here. You can feel it with your finger right here. Goes right there. Ends about right here. It's a ridge. So that's going to be coming out next. It's only a matter of time. So there's good news and bad news. Good news is the neck is completely perfect here. There's no splits in the wood. Bad news is I got to sand it off. So I could sit here. This was about 40 minutes of chiseling off that loose stuff. I can move a lot faster with sanding it. So we came to the consensus between me and Vic Hucklebuck that the best thing to do is to sand this down. I'm going to go back to about here. It's a 12th fret, maybe a little past that. We'll sand it down like it's relict, and then I'll clear it. We just want it playable, and if it was just this portion that was cracked, I would just try to redo it in the black. But the fact that the rest of it is all still cracking too, front and back. So, I mean, doesn't really matter what's happening on the headstock, right? But what's happening down here is important. So we're going to sand this back down, and I'm going to clear it, and I think will do it. And I kind of want to do it like, where your hand would be, and then just kind of feather in this edge here, on top and the bottom, And yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. So I'm going to move on with that. I'm going to use the random orbital, and I got a variety of sandpapers. I got 100, I've got 150, I've got 220, 320, and 600. Should get it nice and smooth. So I'm going to start with the 100, but I don't want to go too crazy with it. Just want to start taking in this finish. Once I start seeing wood, I'm going to back off. That's nice and smooth now. I'm going to wipe it down, get it all cleaned up, shoot out some clear on it. I'm thinking just 1 or 2 light coats. I really don't want to do too much on this, and I don't want to be buffing it all day. But yeah, really from here to here is about all I really want to clear. It's so smooth, I feel like just leaving it. But really, yeah, I really should cover it with something. It's going to get hand oils and everything else in there. But it's really neat how you can kind of see, I don't know if it'll pick up on camera, but all the cracks align with the graining. This looks like a 3-ply, like it's 1, 2, 3 pieces of wood sandwiched together here. So it follows a grain on this first piece. It meets here, and then it followed another grain all the way down to here. On this side, it was the same thing. It did a grain on this, followed a grain down on the outer side, and then grabbed the seam where the 2 pieces of wood meet. But I mean, the best news is that there's no splits here in the wood, so we could take it from there. So I got the neck all cleared. That looks pretty good, nice and smooth. I'm going to give it a couple days to cure out. I can still kind of smell the solvents and stuff, so I'm just going to leave it for a little bit. Should go rock hard. I was trying to take the nut off of there, and that just shattered into pieces. It was on very tight. I think a lot of super glue on there and stuff. Another thing was the top half of the fretboard right here, right after the nut was kind of riding up like it was sloping up. So I had to kind of notch out some back with underneath the fretboard here with with a flat saw, and filled that in with a little bit of filler, so that it's not an exact match, but that fretboard is nice and flat down there. I think that was a lot of the problem, and it looked like there might have been some old glue put in there too. So at any rate, that's looking pretty good. I'll let that cure. And we're going to work on this end of the guitar. So, where should I start? We didn't have any electronics, so I think maybe I will start by going into the back cavity here and seeing what it looks like in there. So, what do we got in here? Get your pickup and your switch coming in. There's lots of corrosion on each of these. I'm going to plug it in again and see what happens. Alright, so this should be, it says it's in rhythm, which is your top pickup. Sounds pretty good. Middle one, it's there but it's fading out. The bottom one's completely gone. Why is the bottom one completely gone? Alright, so that's coming in on the black wire. Alright. I assume there's nothing wrong with this pickup. And I'm going to put one screw back in it just to keep it from flopping out. Probably do the same with that one for now. See where this black goes. Goes to this pot. Turn this on again. I've been poking around with my poker prodder, and this is what I came up with. So what you want to do is set your multimeter to 20k ohms, and you're going to plug in a lead cable. Turn all your volumes up to 10 or 11 if you got it. Select the pickup you want to test, and put here the sad one here on the jacket and the happy one on the tip. And what do we get? 7.5656. It's jumping around in there. 7.5758. So that's good. That is the neck pickup. Now when we go to the bridge pickup, same thing. Nothing. So let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go to the switch. We'll check it at the switch. So we're still on 20k. Just for kicks to make sure we're doing it right, we're going to go switch on the neck pickup, which we know works. Ground is the body. Red's the tip. 7.61. That's the neck one. Go down to the bridge. Nothing. So let's come down to the volume pot. This black wire is the bridge pickup. So we'll do the same thing down here. Nothing. And just to test our theory, we'll do the volume pot for the neck. 7.61. There it is. So I've had this pickup sitting around for a while. It's a DiMarzio. It's just, a standard humbucker. Looking at the markings online, I figured out how to wire this up to work with a Les Paul setup. I wanted to do another test with this out of circuit just to prove my theory that there wasn't anything else interfering, that there's definitely something wrong with this pickup. Touch our two ends there and the 20 ohms. Nothing. If we Bring in our donor DiMarzio here. .5. It's going to be hot. That'll do. I mean, we'll change them out with something at some point. Doesn't always have to live in there. Bringing out the big guns. Sprayway all-purpose cleaner. It's very good stuff. Be very careful what you use it on, though. Get some of this polish. I'll try to hit these scratches down here and see what happens with that. A couple other spots too. Let that dry for a while and I can buff it out. Feed this in here while my boiler is off and not distracting me. Making tons of noise. Getting cold here in the Northeast. Tell you what. Alright, I'm ready to solder this. I think before I do that, there's only 3 wires I'm going to need. The black and the white don't get used. So I'm going to fold them over and I'm going to put a heat shrink wrap over the whole deal. I think we should test it out. Let's see, let's plug in cable. Alright, here we go. This should be both of them. Alright, let's tie up the rest of this. So it's a shame we couldn't keep that one, but I think this will do just fine for now. We can switch it out at any time. Really kind of gross and rusty down in these cavities. So I'm going to spray some peanut butter blaster down there and just a little bit. Let it soak. Come back later with a pipe cleaner and clean them out. I also want to soak the hardware that was with that. And I'm going to polish up the tailpiece. Get that nice and shiny. And yeah, we're moving along. Just about ready to marry the neck back up onto it. I think I'm going to let this these spots of the color magic dry there a little bit, and then maybe buff them out tomorrow. I'm not sure where I left off on this one. Kind of got put to the side when the holidays happened. I had a bunch of other stuff happening, so did gather a lot of dust while it was sitting around. That's a little better for now. I did get through the neck. I did before I kind of gave up on this thing, put this thing aside. I did get a clear coat on it. So off camera, I have polished it out. I've gone through all the frets, went through the fretboard, oiled everything, cleaned it, and yeah, so I'm in the home stretch now. I'm going to put the tuners on now, and I think I want to polish them as I'm putting them on. I have some chrome polish. Use that. Strings on this one, I'm going with the GHS Boomers as usual, but I'm going to go with the 9s on this one. See if that's how it feels. Well, that's all buttoned up. It's sounding great. This bridge here, I think, is suffering the same problem I had with the 1970 Les Paul, where the posts are just too weak to hold it up. So I might be looking for an upgrade there at some point. But the one last thing I wanted to do was put something on the top of the switch. There's nothing there. I have a white one here, but it's just too stark white, doesn't match the patina. And I had a black one, which is kind of boring, so I was looking around for something else. And back when I was doing the Diane guitar, I had a bunch of those tuners, so I pulled one off, and it's got the patina and the age, and I think that'll look pretty cool. So I'm going to glue that on there in a nice position. We'll see how long that lasts. Well, that was a good idea, but terrible execution. I got a dribble of glue down in that switch, and that's the end of it. It won't go up into the up position. So, this guitar's cursed. New switch. Let that heat up. Well, that was colossally stupid. Put a new switch in. So what do you say we just put the black one on? No more farting around. I want to get this back. Done with it. I got so many other projects to be on to. But there we go. That works awesome. Back in black. We're back. I'm going to consider this one done. Plays great, feels great. I'm glad we were able to save the neck. Not that I would have anything against putting a new neck on it, but saving the original, I think that was the right call. It's too bad I lost a lot of the black on the back, but it's nice and smooth now. And the fretboard is nice and glued down, and it stays in tune much better than it did before. In the long term, if this is going to be a player, we're going to have to replace this bridge. The pickup sounds great in there. It's really hot. I just really wanted to get it off the wall. It's been a wall hanger for 20 years now, but I really wanted to get it down and get played. And it's a beater. It's the type of thing you don't care if it hits the mic stand or crashes into your drummer cymbals. Doesn't matter. Just play it, beat it. Somebody already did. There's a lot of wear on these on this fretboard, so somebody was doing some major shredding back in the day on this. So I want to thank you once again for joining me. Thumbs up so I know you like my content, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.